Hello friends, this is Carrie and welcome back to I Like Reddit channel. I hope you all are staying safe and healthy. Today we have 4 awesome stories out of the Entitled Parents subreddit. Let's begin. Our first story is posted by Doctor Who All the Way. My mother feels entitled to my religion. I was raised Catholic and baptized a few weeks after my birth, so as far as religion goes, I had no say in it. Like every good little girl, I was sent to Mass every Sunday, and as a kid, I believed in every word the priest said. I read the kid-friendly version of the Bible and took part in the Light Life movement. But I was a person who liked to go to the bottom of things and loved learning about history. I lost my faith in the Catholic Church when in school we moved from antiquity to the Middle Ages. I was terrified of the Inquisition and the religious persecution. I had learned of all the lies and sins of the clergy and I decided not to support it. I was 12 years old. I was still forced to take part in Mass by my mother, but I stopped going to the Light Life movement meetings. When I was married to my a-hole ex-husband, it was in the church. But I only did it for my grandmother, whom I loved dearly, but she begged me to do it. After that, I never set foot in a Catholic temple. I still believe in a higher power, but not in religion. I tried to explain this to my mother, but she was going off on me, that I was baptized and I will be a Christian to my death. I just said, "You did this when I was a newborn and can't bind me." I had no way of consent back then, and I don't believe in the church, but I still have faith in a higher power. Let's call it God, but I will never go to Mass again. She started crying. She said that she raised me better than this, and that I need to stay in the religion because it's her faith, and I have no right to deny it. I just reminded her that the local law gives me freedom of religion, to have one or to not have one. It was a week of the silent treatment. It was hard, but now after years have gone by, I still stand with my beliefs and refuse to recognize the church. I never bring it up in conversation with my mother. She will try to guilt trip me and try and force me to go to Mass with her. Sorry, Mom, that no longer works for me. Our next story is posted by Unicorn That's Emo. EM tries making me give up my spot for her daughter. So, this just happened last year, but I didn't have enough comment karma, so here we go. Cast. EGU, me. EM, Karen. EK, the kid. EGUD, my dad. I had graduated high school and was waiting for responses from the colleges I applied to. Well, the day came and I got my acceptance letter to a good college in my state. Well, my neighbor had a child who graduated with me and applied to the same college. The only difference is that she didn't get accepted. So, she jumped our fence, it isn't high, it was for the dog, and knocked on the door. So I opened it. The conversation goes as follows. EK: Hey, did you get into college? Me: yeah, I did. Did you? EK: No, because you took my spot. Me: Well, if you actually tried in high school instead of slacking off and turning to drugs, maybe you would have gotten in. EK: I got all A's in middle school and in high school, thank you. And vaping isn't a drug. Now, the funny part is that in middle school, she advocated against vaping, then ended up doing it a year later. As for the grades part, she started slipping in high school, resulting in her dropping from all of her advanced classes. So I just shook my head and watched her leave. I wasn't affected. She ruined her life on her own. Her mom and her came back over, and her mom was mad. With a wrath of fury, she knocked on my door. I opened it, having been woken up by the knocking, and was pushed down to the ground. EM: If you know what's good for you, you'll give up your spot. Me: My spot for college? I've worked towards this since I was young. No way. Get out of here, Karen. EM: My name is not Karen, and I demand you give your spot to EK. Me: Listen, EM, it's your daughter's fault for slacking off. I'm not giving my spot to her. My dad had heard the screaming and a thud, so he had come to see what was going on. When he saw EM screaming at me, EGUD: What's going on, EM? EM: OP stole EK's spot in college. EGUD: Oh, well, you got in? Well, I don't know what to tell you. She got in fair and square. EM: No, she didn't. She took my baby's spot. EGUD: Listen, if you don't leave right now, I'm calling the police. EM and EK did leave, but not without threatening us first. As far as I know, the kid still lives there, without a job, and is not in college. As for the mom, she got the cops called on her for trying to harass my sister. I, however, am enjoying quarantine with my roommate, who actually is the other person from my grade to make it into college. As for my family, they're doing better now. My mom is a worker, however, it's taking a toll on her still. But other than that, we're all good. Too long didn't read. I was threatened to give up my spot in college for a kid who didn't deserve it. Does this seem dramatic? Maybe it is. I'm a dramatic person at times. I probably made it bigger than it should have been, and there was a part cut out as I didn't feel it fit. Like the daughter didn't go home immediately. We talked after that, but I mean, the only reason I know she was declined because, well, she said it up there, right? Well, more or less. And sadly, my parents don't have a peephole on the door. Can't watch out for Karens. If you've been watching until here and you are enjoying the content so far, please drop a heart emoji in the comments section below. Our next story is by Pokemom95. EM calls the police over my clothesline. Cast: M, me, EM, Banshee, P, very nice police officer. This had taken place in my hometown. A house had been built right next to ours over the course of the past year and a half, and a small family had moved into it. We never met the family, as we are usually not the ones to go out of our way to meet people, so it came as a huge surprise when this happened. We have a backyard, which is private. It is surrounded by a fence with a locking gate. EM's house has a deck that overlooks the backyard. Midwinter, our dryer decided to die. We had to take our clothes to the closest laundromat to dry them at least once a week. When spring rolled around, I decided to put up a clothesline in the backyard to help save money. A few weeks went by, and at least once a week I would be out there hanging loads of laundry to dry. On one such occasion, our neighbor, EM, was out on her deck talking on her phone. I paid her no mind. I just hung my clothes to dry. As I headed back inside, I heard the dreaded Banshee screech that was EM. EM: "Hey, boy!" I'm a woman, but I have my hair cut short, with most of it buzzed, so I could see why she assumed I was a boy. I looked over, mostly because of the noise she made, not because I thought she was talking to me, but unfortunately, she was. EM: "You can't hang those out here." Me: "What? My clothes?" EM: "Yeah, you can't hang your filthy underwear out here, where I have to look at them. What if my kids see? Are you some kind of pervert?" Me: "Lady, it's my backyard. If I want to hang my laundry to dry in my backyard, I can." And with that, I flipped her the universal sign to go pleasure herself and went back inside. About half an hour later, I heard a knock on my door. When I answered it, there was a police officer standing at my door. Police officer: "Good afternoon, ma'am." He knew I was a woman, and yet EM somehow didn't. "We received a call about a person who bothers children in the residence trying to flash children. Would you happen to know anything about this?" Me: "Seriously? EM was just screaming about me hanging my underwear on my clothesline out back. I assure you there's nothing else happening." Police officer: "Do you mind if I take a look?" Me: "With nothing to hide?" "Of course." I showed the officer my clothesline, and we could clearly see the EM glaring at us with a smug look on her face from her deck. The officer thanked me and went to go speak with the EM, and that was that. Our final story is by DoodlebugQT. "I'm early, so where's my cake?" Didn't happen to me, but happened to a coworker of mine. I work in a bakery and a grocery store not far from where I live. A few weeks ago, about the beginning of June, it was extremely crazy due to the onslaught of cake orders made for graduations and birthdays. Thankfully, I didn't have to work that day, but the coworker this story is about told me this woman who came in wanting a mermaid cake for her daughter. First thing I should mention, when we get a cake order, we always write down what time we can expect to see the customer. That way we can sort the cakes based on how early they need to be prepared. Turns out this woman comes in an hour before the decorators had her order finished. Rather than just doing other shopping and coming back, she stands right outside the bakery and impatiently waits for the cake and cupcakes, interrupting every now and then asking how much longer it's going to be. So the decorators are just scrambling to finish both orders for her. Once they're finally ready, the woman takes it and decides to balance a large box on the seat for small children at the front of her cart rather than making room for it in the basket. My coworker warned her that the potential accident is likely to end in, but the woman shrugs off the warning and basically ignores her. Well, she decides to go through self-checkout, and guess what happens? That's right, the cupcakes fall. She marches back over to the bakery fuming, like they had anything to do with the mess, all the way on the other side of the store, and demands that they prepare more cupcakes for her. Grudgingly, they fix what cupcakes they can and remake the ones that were beyond saving. All while she's bickering about them not being able to help her in the self-checkout area. Lady, it's freaking self-checkout. You help yourself. They were eventually able to get rid of her, but it backed them up on the rest of the orders they had to get done. Thankfully, that was the only memorable entitled parent they had to deal with that day, or at least that's what my coworker told me. That's all the stories I have for today. I'd like to give a big thank you to the OPs for sharing their stories to the Entitled Parents subreddit. Links to their original stories will be in the description box below. Please stop on by Reddit to show them some love and an upvote. If you enjoy the content on this channel, please comment, like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell notification to let you know when I've uploaded new videos. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.